I came across this post on Reddit asking a question for advice, and I felt compelled to do a video response for it. So the question reads: how do you overcome your past self in relation to your improvements? This poster writes, I have been on the self-improvement journey actively for a year or so. I have recently, however, been hit by a reasonable bout of depression, something that's not alien to me, but has shoved some things into the limelight that I feel I should address. I have spent a lot of effort to improve the various negative elements of myself, as I'm sure a lot of us in this community have done. But as of late, I've been around a lot of friends and family who knew me from before I had made significant changes, most of whom act in a very, oh, we know you, you're like, insert negative example here, which simply consistently reminds me of who I used to be. How do I go about this problem? Not necessarily just being reminded, but the knowledge in itself. Do you not suffer the same problem? If so, how do you overcome it? And then he closes with a quote from Alan Watts, which I particularly like, which is, the irony of self-improvement is the thing that needs to do the improving is the flawed thing itself. So first of all, I think it's wonderful that you've not only made improvements on yourself, that you perceived negativity in yourself and you move forward. So many people don't do that. In fact, many of the people criticizing you don't do that. And you know what is interesting about the people who are criticizing you? A lot of them, especially if they're not motivated people, if they're not motivated people and they're not conscious people, they probably perceive what you're doing as a threat. And not necessarily as a threat like you're going to harm them, but what you're reflecting on to them is that they cannot, that they can improve themselves, and they're just choosing not to. Because if you can do it, especially if they perceive you to be beneath them, and you're being successful in becoming a better person, that means they're failing. They probably tell themselves a lot of things. I'm sure you've heard all these things before, or dealt with thoughts of, you know, I'll always be this way, or this is just how the world works, or things like that. But what we find is that it's all up to us. And if you find that you're dealing with somebody who is still thinking in that flawed kind of mindset, you've just given them like a mini like existential crisis. Like, I could be better? You mean everything that's going on in my life right now is I'm responsible for? I did this? You know what that does to people? And so of course they're going to be like, oh yeah, you're just like, insert negative example. You used to be so lazy. We know you. You're so careless. You're so thoughtless. You're so whatever. Like, insert anything you want. And by them making that type of affirmation, it's them comforting themselves that, no, really, like, all their shortcomings are due to luck or due to the world. It's not their own doing. So you have to keep that in mind. I feel so empathetic that you have people around you that aren't encouraging you, because it does hold you back. It does poison your mindset. And it's tough when it's family, but friends you don't have to put up with that stuff with. I would recommend you limit yourself from those people as much as you can. Surround yourself with people that are going to encourage you and celebrate your achievements, or have the same type of goals as you, or at least care about being the best version of themselves that they can be. So how do you overcome this? Well, first of all, I would say, one, stop surrounding yourself with those negative people as best as you can. I know it's not perfect, but there's times you're going to have to do that. And two, take a look at old social media posts of yours. If you did old journals, read that. Anything where you left a significant mark of what your personality used to be. One person told me that they cringe when they look at their old posts on Facebook. And they don't like to look at them because of that. But I like to look at mine because of that. And the reason is because I get to see the growth in myself. If you don't cringe at your old Facebook posts, I feel like you haven't really gone through any character development. Find these old things of yourself that display who you used to be as a measure of how far you've come. And feel proud of that. Be grateful for that. And don't feel like just because these people are putting you down and you feel like you're not really getting away from it, don't stop and think you're still that person. We are never exactly who we were a year ago, 6 months ago, even weeks ago sometimes. I guarantee you're a different person now than you are then. Anyway, I hope this helps. Be good to yourself.